Hello, people that net. How is all doing? I know it's been a while since I done the Cavan and Monaghan coronavirus update. Um, because I took a break and everything, but it's not good news. But the small consolation, I suppose. Is that I can finally say where the clusters are, and I can finally talk about them finally. Because obviously I was waiting for the HSE to bring out a map and everything, and because I knew whereabouts they were before many county councils along myself knew, along with political activists knew where they were in Cavan and Monaghan. So as you know, the cases of Cavan went up extremely high, 56, which is a lot for just 2 days. It's now 310, which is that's a huge amount. The population of Buttersbridge is nearly another 300 and you be at the population of Buttersbridge, which is, that's just putting into perspective, that's a huge amount of the population, just putting it on a level playing field. In Monaghan, the numbers have gone up extremely too. 161, it's gone up 14. So obviously, in Monaghan, the more in outside Monaghan town and Carrickmacross and Castleblaney, in them big areas, and some spread outside. But there is the cluster, and the one cluster was referring to the time before it went into Cavan town. It was the one near Kingscourt. There's a cluster near Kingscourt. It might be in the town. I'm not too sure, but it's in the surrounding area of Kingscourt. It broke out. I can't remember when it broke out, but it was a huge issue because it just kept spreading. It spread. And obviously with the lack of testing too, it spread it even worse, and went out of control. And obviously the reason why Cavan Town has it bad too. It's not as bad as Kingscourt, around that area. We'll say that. Athlone has it very bad. It was it has been up in the local authorities about Athlone. But yeah, Cavan Town has it because obviously the breakout in Cavan General Hospital, but obviously there was a few other cases around the town of coronavirus, and obviously that has spread it too. There is a good bit now on the Cavan Lockwood border too. It's not as big as the other two, but it's still a cluster in other words. That means more than 5. So obviously that is a concern. And obviously the person spitting in the gal's coughing actually in the gal's face twice. And Ben, yeah, obviously he only got a month in prison, which I would have said in prison for life if I got away with it. We tried our best to send him as much as we can to prison, but he still won't listen. But anyway, we'll make him listen. Just FYI. But I'm just saying to people in Cavan, I'm not saying to people, stay inside and hide away from everybody, hide underneath the chairs, hide underneath the couches. Go out for your walk, go out for your jog. But just be careful. It is really, really dangerous. It is in 2 nursing homes in Cavan. It's very, very dangerous, especially with older people. I'm terrified for some older people in Cavan. Might as well say it straight, I'm terrified, and the local authorities are terrified, because if it goes into a nursing home, it's very little we can do to stop it. And I suppose that we can dissect the wards, but it's very little we can do, because the harm would have been done. The harm would be done before we can dissect it. Which is terrible to take. Which is absolutely terrible to take. But please God, it will never come to that in Cavan. Thankfully, only 2 nursing homes have a small amount, but thankfully, it seems to be under control. Please God, will be under control anyway. But yes, just to say to the SNAs in Cavan, special needs assistants. There's been a huge response from the SNAs in Cavan to volunteer from into nursing homes, and I really just want to commend every one of them. It's difficult. I know a few of them have been saying it was difficult. It's very unusual because they used to be in the classroom, and obviously this is very very new to them. But hopefully they'll be all right. It is very new. We can understand why they're finding it difficult. Some of them find it difficult. And it's absolutely difficult for everybody. Yeah, it is pretty, there is isolated cases too, around the county. There is a map. I leave a link in the description for the map and the article. But it is there is a few isolated cases obviously, but generally which is kind of small, another kind of small positive. With all the contact tracing being done, at the moment in time, we now only down to 1 person. So along with 1 person, it's only 1 person we have to trace back to, which is better than what it was before. The first few cases was 5 people, 6. One case was 20 people we had to trace back to. And you know that was a huge amount of people that traced down and obviously contacted everything. Huge amount. But thankfully, you know, that's reduced. So obviously that's, you know, some kind of a positive. But it is pretty dangerous. And I'm not going to say that it's still pretty dangerous. I'm not saying this, you know, it's extremely bad. Obviously Dublin has a terrible. Nearly 5,000 cases in Dublin alone. That's very bad. If that happened in Cavan, we'd be doomed. And so I might as well put it straight. Dublin has a lot more hospitals and a lot more medical staff than Cavan would have. So we would be doomed if 5,000 cases happened in Cavan. But we would try it. We would do our best if that did happen. But but I'm just saying to people, you know, take it day by day, take it hour by hour, and minute by minute. You know, some people are worrying about, you know, it could hit 2,000, 3,000. And you know, I say to people, don't look that far ahead. You know, take it day by day. These are very insignificant number compared to the national infections in the national scale. Which is it's very grim to say that, but it's not as bad, thankfully. Like there's 13,000 cases now at the moment of time. But thankfully, you know, 300 is not, you know, 13,000, which is another small positive, but you know, out of what is kind of the positive. But yeah, I'm just saying to people, you know, go out for your walks. Of course, go out for your walks and runs. Don't be afraid to go out. But just be aware. That's all I'm saying. Be aware of your surroundings. Be aware of, you know, what you touch, and you know, you should be safe. And take care and bye.